For
than anything.
hypertrophy's sake, 100% better progress to try to get more reps with the weight rather than trying to get more weight for less reps. 100%.
Cool.
All right, so we're going to talk about using our projected maxes on our strength program. Now, this is a strength and size program.
Hmm.
Now, so that means we have two goals. One, we want to get stronger, but two, we are still trying to get bigger, not just stronger. Because when we train for powerlifting, we're training for rep efficiency and
Hmm.
we're training for the biomechanics and just can I get from position one to position B back to position one, you know? But when we're training for hypertrophy's sake, that size part, then we want to get multiple repetitions, we want to get the pump to expand the muscle belly. We want to get multiple reps because that means more times we are tearing fibers or giving chances to tear fibers. And that's just those microscopic tears, not injury tears,
Hmm.
but to create that need for new protein synthesis. Okay. The stimulation for the change. So hitting the targeted number of reps is the issue, not the weight. Okay. The weight is, in this case, the weight is the tool we get to use. So when we set up the first week, the numbers were pretty aggressive. The first week of squats were, we said 60%, 70%, 80%.
Yeah, I think that was it.
And the goal was to get 3 sets of 10,
3 sets of 8 on the first week.
3 sets of 8 on the first week. And then the following week, it was those same numbers now to 10 repetitions.
Hmm.
Now, the first week, did we get the number of reps in each set?
On the first two, yes. The last one, no. The
Last one, no.
80% was where it failed.
Okay. And then the next week, I think we got 995.
Hmm.
Okay. So if we didn't, like, you have to hit that 10th rep to qualify to get to that next jump or to
Okay.
take that next full jump. Let's say we're like, oh, well, I'm just not really warmed up all the way yet. I'll do better on the next set. But maybe that next set, instead of being 10% more, it should now go down to 5% more. Okay. So don't take as aggressive, really kind of motivate yourself to get through that set because each set counts. Because these
If I
aren't
don't get the
our,
reps, don't go up a bunch.
this is not about, just trying to get to the next weight. It's about, and it's not even those first couple warm up sets where it's like, okay, well, it's just the bar. So, I just do like three. I don't have to do 10, or it's just plates. So I don't have to do 10 full reps. I'll just do a few to get my knees loose. These are the listed working sets. This is where our
Hmm.
training volume is really coming from, not those warm up movements with little to moderate weight. These are our heaviest weight sets. So for the training volume and the intensity, we want to try to hit that many reps total. So
Hmm.
30 reps total, gradually increasing weight. So and then you mentioned our projected max was 405.
Yeah.
When we tested out, what did you do on that test day? What was the heaviest set that you completed on the test day?
My leg
365 for 3.
and the 405. I don't know what it was. I got it, but I didn't feel like my depth hit fully. Like I didn't get the. It might have been. It might have passed for a powerlifting rep, but I didn't like it for depth compared to what I normally go to. I
It
did not
wasn't
go as deep
your
on
it
it.
wasn't your bodybuilding style squat full
Yeah,
range of
yeah.
motion
Whereas
part.
like 365 for 3, I got down there and I felt good about it. And the 405 though, no, it didn't feel as clean. I felt like my back was starting to take over,
Yeah.
and so I stopped it short
Okay.
and went back up and put it away. So
And
I shouldn't have counted it.
you said that previously you've done that weight before, but you had belts, knee
Knee
wraps.
wraps, squat shoes, and some smelling salts involved there.
So like
Ripped right before going at it.
when we would try to normalize between sets, like with the guys that I would work out, like some guys would wear belts, some guys wouldn't, some guys would put on chalk, some guys wouldn't, some guys would wear wrist wraps or knee wraps. And so we would like add a rep to their set or a handicap per se. So like a belt would be like, hey man, that's plus 3 reps. Knee wraps plus 3 reps. Uh,
And
Wrist wraps
these
+2, chalk +1.
and that 405 with the knee wraps, belt, and squat shoes, that was like everything I had in me to get that up there. I got it, but it was like that was a true full, like I could not have done another one with all that assistance. And these reps that we did for this program, when I'm just doing my leg day, I normally don't grab a belt. I don't grab all those things. I sometimes wear the squat shoes because it makes my feet more comfortable, and the way my knees rotate feels a lot more comfortable. Because those felt like the best squat reps I've done in the last year. That like every muscle felt activated. I felt the
Nice.
glutes hitting the right spot and pushing through the exercise instead of at those heavier weights sometimes where I start to feel my back. Felt like good, clean reps. And I'm like, if that's what squats felt like every time, I'd like doing them a lot more.
Sometimes what we learn is that, you know, all these little details matter when it comes to that feel and that motion that we're able to achieve. So use those things that are best for you and then try to keep that, keep it in your gym bag if you have to. It just has to be with
Mm-hmm.
you. As far as like wearing a belt, like I think it's better to go without a belt so that you're not forcing yourself to use super physiological loads to stimulate when it's actually like, I couldn't do this without a belt. I couldn't do this
Yeah.
without knee wraps. If you can't do it without, it might not be worth the exchange rate is not there. It forces you to be conscious of all the muscles. Now, so when
Yeah.
we wear extra belts, when we wear extra straps, what that is allowing us to do is to get around a weak link in the chain, whether it's our grip
Mm-hmm.
strength, and it allows us to just focus on the parts that we're using. But we always have to be mindful of how these things are affecting the amount of weight we're able to use, and if we could achieve the same thing with less weight if we don't do those other things. And there's a lot of debate in that area. But let's go back to, so these projected numbers. What we could
Mm-hmm.
actually do is we could say, hey, um, let's dial everything back 5, 7, up to 10% on every set across the board. Because if we don't get the reps on the first set, then that probably means that we're going to have less reps throughout the entire workout
Mm-hmm.
or through the entire exercise. Because if I don't hit my reps on the first one, am I going to get extra reps on my last set? The likelihood is not there. So just to motivate to complete all the reps each set. Like, sometimes we're not mentally engaged enough. If you think I got to finish these to get to the next level, otherwise I don't get a pass go.
Yeah.
Um, but so reps are a big factor here. The weight, the projected 1 RM will move based upon what we're trying to feel. So, like, hey, I like to do certain PRs with a weight, right?
Mm-hmm.
My 315 max is, 24 reps or whatever. Um, Most times I've done 405 is, whatever, 5, 10, whatever it is for you. But so those are the numbers that we'll push up as we go through this program. So this, I think you got like one more or two more higher rep weeks here. So really
Mm-hmm.
push for those tens, because then we're gonna increase the weight and decrease the reps. Okay. And
Cool.
then we're gonna decrease the rest time and the number of reps and just try to rev up. This is all trying to create extra stress without needing extra weight, which puts tendons and joints at a higher risk liability.
Mm-hmm.
So we're still stressing, and then you'll see a strength adaptation get created from not necessarily needing to do that weight.
Yeah. You'll
Okay.
see, be able to do more reps with higher weight without ever having to touch the super heavy stuff,
So whereas, I mean, we want
essentially.
high training intensity, but we want to create sub maximal intensity on load while getting the majority of our intensity through volume, the volume of the intensity, and kind of spread that out in the workout.
Yeah.
So it's
Well, like
high intensity with volume
on
and
my incline
manipulating those two
bench,
variables together.
I got like that one where I got a new, I'd say it's a PR, but for 8 reps of getting 105 pounds for 8, real clean, felt real good, felt that nice tension, great form without any sort of cheating, anything. But that one going up, that was good. Whereas like trying to go for, we talked about, or I mentioned briefly on a quick call that I had gone for my military press. I felt 80 felt good, 90 felt good. Then I'm like, screw it, let's go all the way for hundreds. And then I only
Yeah,
did
we
4 reps on it.
talked about this last night. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, I mean, that's awesome, but like anytime we're putting 100 pounds over our head, like I would rather I'd rather have you get the reps than go up that heavy because one, I get more reps. Two, I haven't put as much risk in that joint. And
So
I'm like, yeah, I want you to be able to do it, but I don't want you to have to do it.
I should have just gone for 90 and then been like, all right, let's see how many I can absolutely get on this last one. And maybe I could have cranked out 15
Yeah,
and I
and
probably would have seen better
for
progress from that than anything.
hypertrophy sake, 100% better progress to try to get more reps with the weight rather than trying to get more weight for less reps. 100%.
Cool. So, well, yeah, remember, I just got to remember that while we're going for heavier and heavier, always prioritize getting those reps. And then if you want to go, if you think you need to go up in weight, uh, go lesser on going up in weight and go more, be like, all right, let's see how many more reps I can do. And I mean,
Let's
yeah, if I get 15, the next week I can start at
clarify
85.
let's clarify too that we want to do heavy weight for reps, not lightweight for as many reps, not moderate
Yeah.
weight for as many reps, but relatively heavy weight that you could maybe only do 8 to 12 times. If you can do that sort of level weight, so we're talking 75% of your max, 85 is pushing it. And so we found out that 85 is real, it's hard to get 8 reps with 80% of our max,
Mm-hmm.
especially as the workout's going. But that's the upper threshold limit that we're trying to shoot for. If we can't get to that 80%, let's take 70 or 75, whatever we just did, and just try to squeeze out 2 more reps, 3 more reps. That's going to give us a greater potential for growth than if I did 50% less reps with 5% more weight. Like
Yeah.
there's a tipping point, and part of that's the nervous system. Part of that's the glycolytic fuel of the muscle and the rest time and general fatigue across the nervous system and the oxygen tax across the whole body. So many factors. We're not lifting in a vacuum. The gym's a pretty, isolated place, but still there's other variables that we're considering always. So the one variable that we have the most control over is the weight we select to move. Everything else, that is in flux always. But once you grab that weight, you're kind of that weight is the weight.
Mm-hmm.